Hello students, in my last video I had told you about the male reproductive system in human beings. Today I am going to tell you about the female reproductive system. The female reproductive system in human beings consists of these parts: a pair of ovaries, a pair of oviducts, a uterus, cervix and vagina. These are the oviducts. These are the two ovaries. There are two ovaries on either side, right? They are connected to the uterus by this fallopian tube or oviduct. We call it as oviduct or fallopian tube. Uterus opens to the outside, that is, opens to the outside through vagina. This is the female genital organ, right? Which has other accessories, labia minor and labia majora. They are outside, right? Now, uterus opens to the vagina through this cervix. This is a point where uterus is connected to vagina, cervix, right? Now, the female child contains thousands of immature eggs. The female child contains thousands of immature eggs at the time of birth only. But these immature eggs start maturing only at puberty. Means when a girl reaches the age of around 11, 12 or 13 like that, she starts producing eggs. Every month one egg matures and is released by the ovary. This egg is taken by this funnel-like structure. This is a funnel-like structure called fimbriae. This fimbriae picks up the egg and pushes it to the center of the fallopian tube. Pushes it to the center of the fallopian tube. It stays here for some time. During its stay in the fallopian tube, if there is sexual intercourse, if copulation takes place between male and the female, sperms are released into the vagina. These sperms swim across the uterus and one of the sperm fuses with the egg. When sperms are released through the vagina into the uterus, one of the sperms becomes successful in fertilizing or fusing with the egg which is present here, and it forms the zygote. Though millions of sperms are ejected from the penis every time, only one sperm is sufficient to fuse with the ovum, right? So fusion of male and female gametes results in the formation of a zygote. This zygote then turns into the embryo and gradually it comes down. It starts coming down, it descends, rather you can say. It starts descending here down and fixes itself to the wall of the uterus here. It fixes here to the wall of the uterus. This fixing of the embryo, which we now call as fetus. This fetus develops into the child. The fixing of fetus to the wall of the uterus is called as implantation. The fixing of the fetus to the wall of the uterus is called as implantation. Now, after it implants here, a disc-like structure is developed. A disc-like structure is developed around this fetus, which is called as placenta. a disc-like structure develops around the fetus. See, there are villi, means finger-like projections are there on either side. On the uterine wall, from the uterine wall projections come, from the embryo also projections come. These two together form what we call as the placenta. The developing embryo grows into a child by getting all the nutrition or nourishment from the mother through this placenta. In other words, the developing fetus gets nourishment from the mother through this placenta. From this placenta. Also, whatever nitrogenous waste the embryo produces or the fetus produces is sent out through the same placenta. So it acts as a two-way connection. One is it provides nourishment to the developing fetus. Secondly, it removes all the waste produced by the fetus. Now, it takes around 9 months, approximately 9 months to develop into a child. This period of development is called as gestation period. 9 months or approximately you can say 38 to 40 weeks, right? So this period of development of the embryo into a fully grown child, fully developed child you can say, is called as gestation period, which is approximately 9 months. When the child is fully grown during the late pregnancy, that is at the end of 9 months, pituitary gland. You know what is pituitary gland? It is a endocrine gland which is present in the cerebral area, in the brain. This pituitary gland produces a hormone called as oxytocin. It produces a hormone called as oxytocin. This hormone starts producing reflexes. It starts producing contraction, relaxations. It starts contractions here, contracting the uterine walls. So the reflex is what we call uterine reflex, or in general terms we say labor pain. Pain starts coming to the mother, pregnant woman, right? So this reflex pushes the developed child through the vagina outside. Through the vagina outside. Means the contraction of the uterine wall helps in the easy delivery of the child. Helps in the easy delivery of the child. After the child is developed, again another egg is released by the other ovary. Means what? Though there are two ovaries, only one egg is released from each ovary alternately every month within a period of 28 to 30 days. One egg is released from each ovary alternately within a period of 28 to 30 days. This is called as menstrual cycle. This is called as menstrual cycle, which begins at the age of puberty. And this beginning of menstrual cycle we call as menarche. And it continues up to the age of around 45 or 50, maximum up to around 50 years. The female keeps producing the eggs, releasing the eggs. And at one point of time, this egg production stops, or release of eggs from the ovary stop. That's called as menopause. This is called as menopause. Starting menstrual cycle is called menarche, and end of menstrual cycle is called menopause. Right? Okay, now after the release of child from the ovary, see, there is one connection between the child and the mother, which we call as umbilical cord. It's called as umbilical cord. This side, this one side, placenta, and this umbilical cord. This umbilical cord is cut, which later we call as navel, right? So, this umbilical cord is cut. Nowadays, this umbilical cord is preserved. Earlier, it used to be thrown out. But now, umbilical cord is preserved because it contains stem cells. It contains stem cells. Means what? The cells which can be made to produce anything. They are undefined, or which do not have any particular function. The cells which do not have any function called as the stem cells. These stem cells can be used to make the blood cells. This umbilical cord can be used to produce the blood cells. That's why now the umbilical cord is very, very important. It's preserved now, not thrown. Alright? After the release of the child through the vagina, another hormone is produced called as prolactin. Another hormone is produced called as prolactin. This prolactin induces the mammary glands or the breasts. Induces the mammary gland or the breasts to produce milk, what the child needs. The child needs, immediately after birth, what the child needs? Milk, which is produced by the breasts or the mammary glands. The period for which a mother feeds her child with her breast milk is called lactation period. The period for which a mother feeds her child with her breast milk we call lactation period. This lactation period is very, very important. Mother's milk to the child is very important because it provides the immunity. It provides the first immunity to the child. It provides first immunity to the child. It contains hormones, it contains enzymes, right? It helps in getting the immunity. It contains the proteins, right? The child which lacks mother's milk suffers from nutritional disorders and is very weak. The mother's milk, child deprived of mother's milk after birth suffers from nutritional disorders and lack of immunity. Alright? This is about how a child is born, how the male reproductive system and female reproductive system work. Now, if the egg release is fused with the sperm, then fertilization takes place. That is, fusion of sperm and egg takes place, zygote is formed, it changes to embryo, fetus and develops here. Is it not? Now, in case the egg is not fertilized, then what happens? In that case, this unfertilized egg comes out. This unfertilized egg comes out along with the inner membrane of the uterus. And blood. This is called as menstrual flow. If the egg is not fertilized, then this unfertilized egg along with the inner membrane, that's called endometrium, inner membrane of the uterus, along with blood, because it ruptures now, right? So blood, all the three come out through the vagina, which is called menstrual flow, which lasts for 4 to 5 days. After the menstrual flow stops, after the menstrual flow stops, from the 6th day onwards, again the inner membrane of the uterus redevelops. It becomes again developed. New membrane is formed. New endometrium is formed in the uterus. And it becomes thicker in order to receive or to anticipate a fertilized egg to come and reach here. Right? This is how the reproductive system works. This is how the human reproductive system works. Right? Thank you.